roll call until we elect a chair. So until that time, I will just call out names. If you could please respond and just say here, that would be greatly appreciated, and we'll read it into the record for our meeting minutes. Okay. All right. So Doreen DeFazio. It's not here. Justin Hollander. Justin is not here. Sue Robbins.
Here.
Thanks, Sue. Lindsay Fox.
Here.
Andrea Bresnahan. Okay. Victoria Duckworth.
Here.
And I apologize in advance. I am probably going to mispronounce your last name. Julie Capuzziello.
Yep, I'm here.
Hi, Julie. Bob Carroll.
Hi, Bob's here.
Hi, Bob. Chantel.
Here.
Hello. Susan Duvall.
Here.
Julie Grace.
Here.
Jennifer Lewis. No, Jennifer. Deborah George.
Here.
Essex Petrie.
Here.
JT Ross.
Here.
Philip Grasso. Philip, okay. Colleen Roy.
Here, and there's one more attendee, it looks like.
Oh, thank you. Let me. Thanks, Colleen. Okay, Linda Hassinger. No, Linda, I thought I saw Linda, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay, Bruce Spinney. No, Bruce. David Robbins.
Here.
Alrighty. John Allen. No. John. Shiva Ganti. Okay. Guru Andana. Hamant Pasala. Roshan Utangi.
Yes, here.
Anne-Marie Foley.
Here.
And Brian Hool. Okay. All right. Looks like we're in good shape. Thank you all so much for coming. We really appreciate it. We're so excited to take this opportunity to, introduce ourselves, kind of get to know one another. We'll be spending a lot of time together going forward. And I know that some folks on the call definitely have been involved in some other boards and committees in the past. But there's also a lot of new faces. So this is very, very exciting. I think a good probably exercise for us would just to get to know each other would be to maybe go around, and I'll just do it the kind of pick and choose way, and have volunteers just introduce themselves, just say a quick hi, and then tell us why you wanted to join the master plan working group. Oh, I see Sarah. Sarah, you have your hand up.
Just a quick note, it looks like video is disabled for this meeting.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I don't know why that setting is on.
I second Sarah on that.
I just wanted to let you know we're not being antisocial.
Yeah, I was curious.
I was going to raise my hand on that as well.
Okay, yeah, apologies about that. I'm going to throw myself on mute for 1 minute and then just jump into the settings. 1 second. All right, so it's looking like I can't fix it this time around unless someone is a little bit more savvy than and I'm doing something that I can't, that I'm just missing. So that is a little, oh, hold on, a little aggravating. Let me see.
Fiona, do you know if we're able to share slides if the video is turned off?
Yes, you should be able to.
Okay,
Elena, and Elena, I promoted you to a panelist as well, so that should be fine.
wonderful.
Okay, well, I'm sorry everyone about that. I'm going to try and continue to work on this as once it's CMRPC is doing their presentation, and hopefully we will get to see each other. So apologies in advance. I will make sure that that is fixed for the next time. But I would like to just take this opportunity to go around and just, you know, have us all kind of introduce ourselves for this group. I know a couple of, as I said, I know a couple of folks have been involved in town, but we also have some new faces. And I know that a lot of folks joined us at the workshop. So, you know, but still, I think it's, there's a couple of folks who didn't get to come. So I think it would be nice to be able to just go around to their name and say, you know, why you're interested in being on the master plan working group. So we can just get a little, you know, understanding how, you know, how you heard about this and why you want to be involved. So I am going to use the exact same order that I did last time. And I'm going to start with you, Sue.
All right. Sue Robbins. I've been living in Grafton for 33 years. I've been on various committees, school committee 8 years, finance committee 25, EDC 16, and a number of other committees. But I'm interested to be involved in this committee because we're entering a whole new stage in our town on various issues. And I would like to be a part of that and share some of what I've learned over the 33 years living in town.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sue. So happy to have you. Lindsay, how about you?
Hi, yes, my name is Lindsay Fox. I lived in Grafton for about 7 years now. I was, you know, looking to join the master plan working group just because I was looking to get more involved in the town. And kind of like Sue said, I think it's, you know, we're coming up on some very important times, and, you know, things are changing rapidly. And I think it's important to kind of get a variety of input from, you know, different residents.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lindsay. Appreciate you being involved. Victoria.
Hi, everyone. My name is Victoria Duckworth. I've lived here in Grafton for almost 7 years now, coming up on almost exactly 7 years. I have been on the finance committee for 1 year now. I'm 1 year into my term. And I just thought it was important to get involved in this particular discussion because, number one, I care about my community and want to have a voice in how we strategically plan moving forward. And number two, just like everyone else said, every day feels pivotal, but right now feels particularly pivotal. And I'm excited to be here. So thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Victoria. Appreciate you being here. All right, Julie.
Which one? Capizzello?
Oh, yes, sorry.
Okay, thanks. Yep, so Julie Capizzello. Let's see, I've lived in Grafton for going on 10 years here, young family. I'm actually at a Grafton Little League tournament right now, so if you hear some background noise, that's why. It's wrapping up. We're out in Webster. And yeah, I am currently an election worker and a warden, so that was kind of me, like, just getting my feet wet into getting involved in Grafton. You know, active participants and going to meetings, listening in, but this is kind of my first real committee to join, and like others have said, just it's a pivotal time for Grafton, and I'm looking to get more involved and lend my insight. So thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thanks, Julie. Appreciate you calling in from the game. That's dedication. Okay, Bob. I thought I saw Bob.
Hi, this is Bob. How you doing?
Good.
Grafton, 22 years, raised a couple of girls, fairly recently empty nester. Also serve on the IT committee with Dave Robbins and others. Understand the importance and relevancy of the master plan and planning, where Grafton's been and where we're going.
Awesome. Thank you, Bob. Did I see Chantal? No, I didn't. Chantal was not here. Susan?
I'm here.
Oh,
I'm
I'm
here.
sorry, Chantel. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No worries. Chantel Kimball. I've lived in Grafton almost 24 years. We moved here at the tail end of 1999. Despite having been here that long, I've been sort of peripherally involved in things going on in town, and this seemed like a really good opportunity to commit to joining a committee, particularly just because I've had the pleasure of seeing how far Grafton has come over the last 24 years, and really excited to be a part in setting the tone for the future. I am really excited. I think we have a lot of potential, and very excited to be a part of the group.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chantal. Susan?
Hi, this is Susan Duval. I'm assuming it's me, Susan, that you were referring to.
Yes.
And I've been in Grafton for 17 years. I'm a civil and environmental engineer, professional engineer here in Massachusetts. And so I have a lot of experience with public utilities and roadways and things like that. And so I was interested in participating to lend my experience in that regard. I also have 3 kids in the high school and middle school, and I'm on the high school improvement committee. So also very interested on keeping our schools great. And then lastly, I just feel it's important to have a variety of perspectives, and I think I hear from a lot of different people in town that don't necessarily think their voice is heard. So I'm hoping I can bring those voices to this committee.
Great. Really appreciate that, Susan. Thank you so much. Julie Grace?
Hi, sorry. I'm Julie Grace. I've been in town since 2001, so I've been here 22 years now. I've been part of the library building committee since 2011, and that's really winding down, and I felt like I had some bandwidth and I wanted to continue to contribute. So I was really happy that this came along, because I was starting to look at what committees I would be able to join. And I don't know much about master planning. So I'm really interested to see this whole process and what it will be like.
Wonderful. We're happy to have you, Julie. Appreciate your time. Okay.
Thank you.
Deborah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Deborah is here. Go ahead, Deborah.
Hi, I'm Deborah George. I've lived in Grafton since 2019. I moved here from Los Angeles, where I led a number of committees and councils in environmental issues, planning issues, etc. And since I intend to make Grafton my home for the foreseeable future, probably a couple of decades, I thought this would be a great way to get involved in the town.
Awesome. Thank you, Deborah. Really appreciate it. Okay, Essek.
Good evening, all. Essek Petrie. I long history in Grafton. I was born and raised here, as were my parents. My wife and I moved here back from Boston. When we were working when our kids were school age, just because we love the town. We're excited to raise our kids here. I'm a planner by trade and education, and I've had the opportunity to work on master plans for communities as a consultant in the public sector, and I'm excited to have the opportunity to work on it here in my hometown. Grafton's it's a town in transition, and I'm looking forward to being a part of the process. Thank you.
Thank you, Essek. We're super lucky to have your expertise. Looking forward to working on this plan with you. All right, JT.
Hi, everyone. JT Ross. I am relatively new to Grafton compared to the group here. I've only been here since mid-pandemic. My wife and I bought our property in 2020, and we have 2 young boys. And my interest is in participating in the way the town shapes its future for my boys, one of whom is crashing our Zoom meeting as we speak. I wish I could share that on screen, but I can't. By trade, my job is hereditary cancer program director for a number of healthcare systems in the northeastern United States, as well as some larger systems around the country. And so I really look forward to bringing project management expertise to this group and shaping the way that we present our town to our kids and to those that enter our town in the coming years. So I'm super excited to have a group that is highly experienced in the town, and many of whom have been here for decades, and many of whom have other experiences that they can bring to this group. And I'm just very excited to work with you all on what this town will look like as we shape it for the next couple of decades.
Awesome. Thank you so much, JT. We appreciate you being involved and looking forward to working with you as well. Very excited. Colleen?
Hey everybody, Colleen Roy. I've served on a few boards and committees over the last couple of years, and I'm just excited to be, part of the conversation like everybody else.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Colleen. Okay, I think I did see Bruce. Bruce, are you calling in?
Yeah, I apologize. I cannot get my Surface Pro to work, so I had to use my phone.
No problem. I'm also having tech woes. Everyone can not share their video at the moment. So
Okay, so I thought that was just me, but
nope.
My name is Bruce Spinney. I've served the community in various capacities for about 15 years now. Planning board, finance committee, and a myriad of other things. I currently serve on the trusts, and I look forward to participating in this round of master plan development. That's about it.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Bruce. Dave Robbins?
Yeah, Dave Robbins. I'm on here with any number of interests here. I mean, probably most prominent among those is I've been on the planning board now for about 13 years, and we've frequently over the years been discussing the need to update the master plan. It's now approaching 25 years old, not quite, but 23. And in the last three or so years, I've been doing a fair amount of legwork and prep work to get this going. And I'm happy to see that that we're now at a point of moving this forward. I mean, and in terms of my history, I've been, as Sue said, we've been here since the late 80s, and I've been on quite a number of different things going back to Conservation Commission, all sorts of other things currently besides planning board. Another thing that is kind of near and dear, closely related to the master plan is the open space and recreation plan, which we just updated a couple of years ago. And I'm now leading a committee that's overseeing the implementation of the open space and rec plan. Now, a lot of that's going to feed into the master plan as well. As Bob Carroll noted, I'm serving with him on the IT committee. Also sit on the Grafton Housing Authority, which relates to the housing component of the master plan. And I'm just finishing up, we'll be finishing up in October with the bylaw review, which was 20 years overdue. And I'm interested in really all aspects of this master plan. I'm really interested to see the variety of backgrounds and experience we have here in the working group. I think we've got Central Mass Regional Planning staff that's really going to be doing a lot of the legwork on putting this plan together. But I think I'm kind of excited to have this group of people, working together on this, and I think we'll have a really good plan to show for it.
Yeah, I agree, Dave. I'm very excited. The expertise and the skills that are in this group is phenomenal, and I'm so excited that people are willing to lend their talents to this effort. It's so important. Thanks, Dave. Okay, Roshan.
Hey everyone, Roshan Uttangi here. Been in Grafton for almost 8 years now. Raising 2 daughters. Love the town, all that it has to offer. So in return, I was looking for ways to get involved, and I thought this was a great opportunity to bring my skills. I'm an IT consultant by trade, but also, yes, people management, planning are some of the things I can bring to the table. So look forward to working with you all and making this town even better.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So happy to have you. Okay, and last but not least, Anne Marie.
Hi, good evening. Anne Marie Foley. I've lived in town for over 31 years. I've served on various boards and committees, both in town and outside of town and professional organizations. I think that, you know, this document is an extremely important document, which, as others have said, will help, you know, guide our decision-making and provide the framework for the future of our town for the next decade plus. We've had this one, like Dave said, for over 20 years, and I have it here and I reference it. I'm excited to serve with this committee. I know the previous document included many members from different facets of our community, which was great. And I'm excited to see that we now also have such a wide range of folks with differing expertise. So I'm thrilled to be involved. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anne. Appreciate it. Okay, so now that we've all kind of got had an opportunity to, at least we haven't been able to see each other yet, but I will be working on that shortly. But an opportunity to introduce ourselves and kind of get an understanding of, you know, our different skills and what we're bringing to the table. Before I jump into, or hand it over rather to CMRPC, I just wanted to go over some basic roles, responsibilities, and expectations of the working group. Some of this information was added to your meeting materials, but mainly I'm going to be kind of short and sweet, but please feel free to ask me any questions. It seems like many folks on this call are familiar with some of the topics that I will be discussing, which is predominantly our draft charge, keeping you know, administrative requirements, including agendas and posting, which is largely a staff responsibility, keeping minutes, our open meeting law, and I'm also going to talk about our the conflict of interest training that is offered for members of boards and committees as well. So I am just going to pull up the draft charge for the that is going to go before the select board. I did share this in the meeting materials. Can everyone see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Yep. Thank you so much. So the charge is for folks who might not be familiar. It's basically this is the template that is drafted for any board or committee that's new in a community. Basically, it's nothing too excessive. It is just a basic statement of the board and committee name, membership, rough timeline or timetable, if you will, and then the mission and goals of the group, so that we have a you know, kind of a direction going forward. So this information from the mission and general goals was from the scope of work, the original scope of work. So I just wanted to ask you all, you know, if you have any thoughts about this or any concerns. It is slated to go before the select board tomorrow, but I wanted to get the working group's feedback on this charge so that I can, when I am, you know, representing us in front of the select board, that I can bring any additional concerns or potential edits. So it's pretty short, but yeah, Colleen, go ahead.
My only concern I can think of is a quorum issue. With a group this large, the importance of showing up and attending meetings so that we can do the work is important. And I know when something like this starts out, everybody's really excited, but it's easy to fall off the important list. And I just don't know if there's another way to handle it, but it's still one of the concerns I see.
Yeah, thank you, Colleen. No, it's definitely been something that's been at the forefront of my mind as well, because we want to have as much, obviously, input as possible, but we also want to make sure that we're meeting our requirements and hitting our quorum. So I will be sending regular reminders to everybody to, you know, let me know if people can't attend meetings, especially when we start getting to the stages where we'll be voting for a chair and a vice chair and a clerk, et cetera, and trying to approve meeting minutes. So that is one thing that I did want to reiterate. And I thank you, Colleen, for saying that. Is, you know, attendance is very important for these meetings, because if we are, especially if we're voting on something, if we don't have a quorum, we can't do it. So right now there's 24 members. So you need 50% plus one. So we're fine tonight. And we also have 3 individuals that just missed the cutoff for the working group. So we'll hopefully have 27 people in total. So that's just something that the group should keep in mind. JT, I see your hand is up.
Yes, I was going to share those same remarks that 27 seems high. I think that anytime you have a group of people that are going to engage in a working group like this, 27 is usually an excessive number. So I myself am one of those that are on the, to be appointed list tonight. So I would hate to see us be restricted to that number by folks that maybe aren't going to participate. And that's an observation. It's not a criticism or a commentary. It's really just something that I think, when you have a working group like this, you want to have a tight group that's focused on it. And if you go above and beyond that, oftentimes you fail. So that's my commentary.
Thank you, JT. Appreciate that. No, we definitely, those are very valid concerns and definitely at the forefront. Unfortunately, I had discussed internally with staff about what we could do in terms of, maybe potentially limiting the quorum number, but if, we have to follow our master general law to a T. So yeah, unfortunately, we're going to have to always be at that 50% plus one.
And that's fair, entirely fair.
Yeah, and I will do my absolute best every month to try and get the confirmation of attendance. I understand summer is very hard for people, and I appreciate you all being here tonight. So yes, we will do the best that we can, and I will try and give people plenty of notice in advance if we are not going to meet a quorum, and we'll have to continue to the next meeting or something like that. Okay, did anybody else have any other thoughts, concerns, questions regarding the draft charge or anything that, else they wanted to say before we switch gears? Okay, I'm not seeing anyone else's hand up. So if nobody else has any thoughts, I am going to move on to my next item here. Okay. So I just, again, as I mentioned, as a group, we are required to fulfill all of the regular, we are a official board / committee. So we will need to be taking meeting minutes for the foreseeable future until we can appoint a clerk. I will be responsible for meeting minutes and we'll post those. Obviously we cannot post, I believe we can't post officially, and well, we can post in the meeting minutes, but they need to be formally approved before we can forward them on. So right now we're kind of in a limbo stage until we can get a chair, vice chair, etc., and move that along. But just so folks know, I am taking the meeting minutes. For now, I will be responsible for the agendas and postings. If you are interested in putting something specific on the agenda, please let me know. If I think folks know where to find me at this point from all of the emailing that you're probably sick of. So just let me know. Other administrative requirements that I wanted to just go over briefly with you, because I know that we do want the consulting team to speak, but there is a conflict of interest training that is required for new members of boards and committees. I don't, and with all of the expertise that is on this amazing working group, maybe somebody can let me know. I don't believe there is a timeline, but it has to be taken. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I think so. Here, sorry, I'm got way too many screens open. So this is I uploaded this sheet as part of our meeting materials. It includes all of the information that you could need regarding the conflict of interest training. You'll follow this link and you should be able to set up a login. This sheet does refer, just talk specifically about employees, but also applies to volunteers, of course. So once you do create the login, you will need to select your organization, which would be Grafton, and then click Get Access. You will then create a new password, a login, and enter your email. And then from there, you'll be completely logged in and you will have to take the training. So the training takes about an hour, I believe. And the first part is for the State Ethics Commission Conflict of Interest Law training. And then there's a second part, which will be acknowledgement of receipt of summary of the law. So the first part is the lengthy one, and it does, just a heads up, when you do take it, it does seem like there is, it's like a test almost, but from what I hear from other folks, you can, if you do get one wrong, it's not that big of a deal. You can always retake it. And I'm not saying that to sound, I did take the training, but I did not actually, didn't get any wrong. So that's the only reason why I'm saying, if you do get one wrong or have to go back, it's not a big deal, as long as you're able to document that you did take the training. And then your certificate, I believe, will either be emailed to the email on file that you use to create your login. And you should be able to either print it out or, what have you, have it as a backup. So, I would appreciate if folks could try and do this sooner rather than later. But again, I don't believe that there is a specific timeline that you have to have it done by. And so that link, I'll just show you what that looks like. It'll take you to the Mass Ethics Training website, and this is what you will see. And then you'll press create your account and you'll go from there. Does anybody have any questions about conflict of interest training or any of those requirements before I move on? Go ahead, Susan.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if we already took the training for another committee, do we need to send you a copy of that certificate or?
Very good question. When did you, if it is in the past 2 years, you do not have to retake the training.
Yes, I took it just like a couple months ago.
Yes, you should be all set then.
And I don't need to send you a separate certificate or something?
If you want to forward your certificate to me, just so I have it, that would be great.
Okay.
Thanks, Susan. That's a good question, and actually very pertinent, because I'm sure a lot of folks here have taken the training at least once within the past few years. So, okay. Any other questions or concerns about the conflict of interest law training?
It's a very minimal ask.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, it's not too bad. An hour does seem sometimes a little brutal, but it goes by quite quick. So, okay, wonderful. So I am going to that, and okay, and my last kind of major discussion item is, I'm sure a lot of folks here are familiar, but open meeting law. So open meeting law is very important and a necessary evil. So I did upload a document, a lovely light read, 48 pages, open meeting law guide. I did not expect anyone to read that or even skim it, but I did want to make that information available, especially for folks who might be new to a working group or a committee or just into open meeting law in general. But what I did was I basically took my, created one slide deck to summarize what kind of everything that you need to know very briefly, instead of having to go through a 48-page document. The biggest thing with open meeting law is you really cannot discuss items that are in front of you outside of the public hearing in a quorum. So the biggest things to keep in mind, and kind of my general rule of thumb with open meeting law, is just don't discuss anything of substance outside of our meetings every month, because you run the risk of creating a telephone, basically. If you meet up in person and you have a correspondence, and then that person that you spoke to speaks to somebody else, and it becomes kind of a sequential correspondence, in person or via email. What we want to do is avoid that, because it's passing on the information and it is a violation. So my general, as I say, general rule of thumb is try just not to discuss pertinent topics. If you're talking about administrative things, yes, I can make that meeting. No, I can't make that meeting. That's fine. Anything of substance or beyond that, we highly do not, please avoid speaking about it outside of the group, because we are supposed to be as transparent as possible to the public, so that and avoid any sort of conflicts or any sort of illusion of collusion, I guess you could say. The biggest thing that I have heard in my time as a planner, and mistakes that have been made, is when there is a BCC email going around. So as I've done before in the past with groups, is I'll send a BCC with basic, administrative information about a meeting, and then this didn't happen to me specifically, but someone will reply all, and then everybody will then be involved in the conversation. And basically, you've had a discussion outside of the meeting, and you had a quorum, and now it's technically an open meeting law violation. So don't reply all to BCCs, and just try and keep the conversations within this forum. That would be great. Does anybody have any questions or want to add anything to my explanation? I'm trying to give a kind of brief overview, but if anyone has any questions or concerns, or let me know. Susan, is your hand up from the last time, or is this a new hand? Okay, I think that was from the last time. Okay, if nobody else has concerns or questions, again, there's a bunch of information available online that you can always peruse, a bunch of guides. Roshan, go ahead.
Yeah, you mean CC, right? So BCC, anyway, people cannot respond when you send.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're right. So sorry. Yes. Avoid it all if you can.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, does anyone else, if no one else has any thoughts, I believe it's time to turn it over to CMR PC. And in the meantime, I am going to continue to work on getting our videos working. So we are joined this evening by our lovely consulting team, Central Mass Regional Planning Agency. Our project manager is Elena Ion, and Sarah O'Brien is also helping manage project and is our community engagement guru. So unfortunately, you can't see them at the moment, but you will. So Sarah or Elena, are you both able to share your screens without an issue?
I am not able. It looks like that permission is off.
Okay, how about now?
Perfect, thank you.
Wonderful. And Elena, I'll give Elena those permissions as well once I can. I think if you wouldn't mind, I'm not sure who it is. Might need to mute background. The noise is carrying. Oh, there's Elena. Okay. Elena, I just made you a co-host as well.
Thank you, Fiona.
Of course.
So first of all, thank you everybody for having us here tonight. It's wonderful to see that there's such a wide range of expertise among you, and I think this will make for very productive conversations about our master plan. I'm joined here tonight by my colleague Sarah O'Brien, and I am Elena Ion. I am a project manager with CMRPC, and my focus is long-range planning. So we are here because CMRPC is helping the town with the update of its 2001 master plan. And we look forward to working with you as consultants to the town. So at CMRPC, Sarah and I and Dominique, who's not here tonight, we're the core team for the master plan, but CMRPC is, we have a number of planners behind us. We're a team of 45 people, planners with various specialties ranging from transportation to economic development and land use planning and so on. So they will be indirectly participating in the development of the master plan. And right now, just as a quick overview, our agency is running about 5 other master plans in central Massachusetts. And, you know, the Grafton master plan is totally unique and tailored to the residents' needs and priorities, but we've also developed some efficiencies in this process, which we will be applying to the development of the master plan to save everyone time. I think most of you or a lot of you are familiar with master plans, but as a quick overview and a reminder, a master plan is a comprehensive long-range plan that communities can use to guide decisions in land use, economic development, and other types of policies. We've envisioned this master plan as a 3-phase effort, and we are now in phase 2 of the master plan. I want to say the master plan is also an opportunity for the community to come together and discuss priorities and to reach consensus on goals and identify strategies and achieve goals. But as a reminder, a master plan doesn't mandate anything. It is a set of recommendations, but it doesn't make anyone do anything. It doesn't mandate that the town do anything. We have recommendations and implementation recommendations. And that is basically our goal as a working group. And a master plan is looking into the future, as a lot of you know, about 10 to 20 years. Grafton has, its last master plan was in 2001, as you know. And towns are required to update their master plan just about every 10 to 20 years. And this outlook into the future is important because a comprehensive plan shows how a community hopes to change over time. So this future outlook sort of captures growth over time. And this is important for various reasons. It gives developers a sense of predictability, a sense of what types of projects might be approved in the next 10 to 20 years. But it's also allowing the town to understand how to manage growth and change over time, how to provide for predictable development, protect natural resources, protect and preserve local and historical identity of the town, and also very important to create a framework for future policy decisions. Now, we are, the Massachusetts general law has mandates a few set topics that the master plan needs to address. And this is what we will be taking on in our master plan process. Those topics range from housing, land use, economic development, transportation, open space and recreation, town services. But towns can also add chapters that reflect their specific needs. And in this case, Grafton is adding an extra chapter or topic, if you want, on quality of life. And you know, while the working group was working to assemble, in the preceding months, we've done some preparatory work. We've built a website, we worked on data collection, we've organized a farmers market, community engagement event, and as some of you know, we've also organized a workshop. There will be a second workshop as well. I will stop here and hand it over to my colleague Sarah O'Brien, who will tell you a little bit about the community engagement and preparatory work we did.
Elena, before you do that, can I have folks try and see if they can turn on their video? I believe I fixed it, but maybe I didn't.
I can still not turn on.
Yeah, I can't either.
Okay, thanks for letting me know. I'll keep working on it.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sarah. I'm working with Elena specifically on this master plan. A quick overview of the timeline. We're about halfway through with this master plan. So the way this one was phased is phase one was all of the data collection for all of the chapters. So we spent summer and fall of 2022 specifically on that. So this master plan has all of the maps, charts, tables, all the data we'll use to support our arguments is completed. And we worked specifically with the previous town planner and the planning board on that phase. So for phase two, we wanted to bring in the working group for the survey and workshop production. The survey started in March and just ended a few weeks ago. We had our kickoff meeting with the planning board of February for this phase. And for this, we're really focusing on, getting as many voices into the plan as possible. So as Elena mentioned, we had our first public workshop on July 11th. We're having our second one in the fall. And we also were at the farmers market in late June. So at the end of this phase, we won't have a final master plan. We'll basically have this is what we're trying to get at with this plan. Is this the right direction? Should we continue with this and keep going with the narrative and the beautification and the accessibility? Or does this committee and the planning board kind of want to switch gears before we really finalize, which will be phase three? And then our deadline for this plan is the end of June of next year. So just about another year. So for community engagement, we started with March. We have our Facebook page, which we've been using for the workshop invitation, and we've been doing ads on Facebook for the survey and the workshop. We also have a website, which will evolve as this planning process evolves. So as of now, it has a little bit more information about the master plan. We promoted the survey and the workshop on there, and there's some contact information for us. So it'll really be used as a place for residents to go if they're hearing about this process, a place where all of the public information will live. Survey distribution went really well. We had about 430 responses. We collected them from paper boxes in the public library and municipal center. We had a Facebook ad. It was on the website. Fiona did a fantastic job promoting this as well. We were on Grafton Public TV. We were in the newspaper. We had flyers posted around town, and then we used the farmers market as a final push at the end of June for responses to that. So more information on both the data analysis phase and some preliminary findings from the survey are in that Dropbox link that Fiona sent you, I believe this week or last week. But that Dropbox link will be key for all the deliverables that CMRBC will be giving along this process. So it's the same handout if you were at the workshop. It's the same handout we had then, but there's a little bit more on who answered the survey and some preliminary findings. So stakeholder interviews will also be a part of this phase. We're scoped to have 10 of them between now and September before we start getting into plan production. And then we're about halfway through the public workshops. So as I mentioned, we were at the farmers market, which we were there for 3 reasons. We were promoting the survey, we were promoting the first workshop, and we also did a little activity to get people talking. So we have about 200 data points from people who came up to the tent on the common, answering the questions, what do you love about Grafton? And what are opportunities for improvement? So we'll be tacking those on to the results we received from the survey. So our first workshop was July 11th. We had about 30 people come to Apple Tree Arts. I think, speaking from myself, it was fantastic. We learned a lot about Grafton specific needs and heard from a lot of different opinions about what should be included in this plan. So that workshop was pretty high level, talking about the chapters and preliminary goals. We talked about Grafton as a whole with strengths and weaknesses, but the second workshop is when we'll get more into the meat of the plan. The first one was more of a full group discussion. The second one, if you've ever been to a science fair, very similar to that, very similar look, just everyone's a little bit older. We'll have a lot of tables with big maps and different activities for people to check out that have to do specifically with different topics. So for example, in previous workshops, we've had open space plans and a question, you know, where can we improve recreational facilities? Where can we improve sidewalks? Where can we improve accessibility? So that workshop will be a very fun task for this group to kind of plan on what specifically will work for Grafton and what we'd like to find out from our residents and how to promote it to make sure we get so many voices to come and kind of walk through and give their 2 cents in these different areas. So we're thinking about that in the fall, right as we're starting writing the plan, and very much looking forward to planning that with all of you.
So moving on to plan development. So after community engagement, we'll be collecting all this information, assembling it and analyzing it, and start drafting the chapters. At this time, I think we have a question. Sorry, I just want to give the participant a chance to ask a question.
It looks like JT's hand is up.
Feel free to step in at any time if you want to ask the question, but I'll just go through these slides very quickly and walk you through the chapters that we'll be developing and the topics we'll be addressing. We'll start with crafting a vision statement for the plan and strategies that reflect public preferences and information that we will draw from the data. And Sarah, if you could move on to the next slide. I will just walk through the topics that will be writing in the chapter updates. So land use is one of them. We'll draw on survey results, stakeholder interviews, data research to identify whether the present land use serves the needs of the population and the ability of the town to provide services. And also we'll be looking at where housing could be located optimally, where businesses could be located, and many other topics. Housing, in the housing chapters, will first of all look at whether the current housing stock is serving the needs of the residents in Grafton. There's been a significant population growth, and the housing stock hasn't necessarily caught up with this population growth. But this chapter will address questions such as, are seniors and middle-income residents able to stay in Grafton, age in Grafton, or are they being priced out, and what can be done to address this trend? And what type of housing types might Grafton want to build? But also importantly, as developers come into Grafton, how can the town make sure that not only that they encourage the production of affordable housing, but also that the town is able to craft these developments according to the town's needs? And Sarah, if you could move on to the next. And I think we have another question. Feel free to ask it at any time.
Oh, hi, it's Anne Marie. I just had a question on the first, I think it was land use, and the third point was specific to North Grafton. Is that?
Yes, actually, not just North Grafton, but also South Grafton. There's an economic difference and income difference between the two sides of town. So how might land use help address this differential development?
Yep. Okay. It just says on your third point there, North Grafton specifically. So I was just curious about that.
Yeah, thank you for flagging that. We're definitely looking at both North and South. So economic development. Yeah, thank you, Sarah. Economic development will try to address what types of businesses do residents want to see? Do they want to see employers? Do they want to see the types of businesses that create employment? Or do they want to see businesses that bring in services and goods that residents might need to prevent having to drive to other towns? Is there accessible healthcare services in Grafton and so on? And I think another topic of importance here is as housing continues to grow and developers keep coming into Grafton, housing puts pressure not only on open space, which has been a recurring topic, but also on industrial and light industrial uses and commercial uses. This is a question of land use as well as economic development. But this is one of the topics we'll try to address. How can the town diversify its tax base, attract businesses, and expand its commercial development? Natural and cultural resources. This topic tries to address how the town can continue to preserve its historic character. So as the town grows, how can the town accommodate growth while at the same time preserving its very diverse and broad historic inventory? If you could move on to the next slide. Similarly, open space and recreation. This is, again, by no means comprehensive, but one question that this might address is, taking an economic development lens to open space and recreation, but also a preservation lens. So an economic development lens might look like, how can the town best leverage its natural resources in order to create growth? Can Grafton become a destination for outdoor recreation? Can its outdoor recreation sites be better marketed, and so on? Moving on to services and facilities. This chapter deals with town services primarily. And the question here is, as with other topics, is are town services adequately serving residents, and what can be done to improve the delivery of services? What type of town facilities might be needed? Do they need expansion? Do they need repair? And also, very importantly, how can the delivery of services accommodate this growing population that we addressed earlier? And if we can move on to the next, transportation and circulation. This chapter will, first of all, provide an inventory of existing and proposed circulation and transportation systems, but it will also look at problematic sites, traffic congestion, and with Grafton being an MBTA community, what can be done so that the town accommodates and encourages transit-oriented development. And lastly, quality of life. This is an important topic in Grafton. As I mentioned, we've collected some data, and the data is showing some interesting results. Grafton is, compared to other communities, is higher income, but there are some quality of life questions, such as Grafton has higher mortality compared to other surrounding communities. It has a very well-educated workforce and very high-paying jobs, yet parts of Grafton are impacted by poverty. And this chapter might try to tackle, how can these pockets of poverty might be addressed? What measure can the town take to implement to reduce poverty, expand residents' income, access to housing, healthcare, childcare, and other services. And also importantly, and this is a question that we addressed in the survey as well, is how can the town increase civic participation? And this is also a topic that came up during the workshop. And if we can move on to the next, very briefly, this is a timeline that addresses how we will, in phase 2 and also in phase 3, how we will move through the chapter development. So we'll take them sequentially, but there'll be some overlap as well. And in this order, we'll be discussing them in our working group meetings as well. We'll be producing a final draft that we will present to the working group and in a public meeting. At the end, we will also present it to the planning board will take comments from the public as well. And then the process ends in the publication of the master plan. And in the interest of time, I will let my colleague Sarah talk a little bit about working group responsibilities. Fiona touched on this, but we'll get into a little bit more detail on the slide.
Sure, thank you. So division of labor here, what we're looking for as your first role will be the vision statement crafting. So I believe that will be our next meeting, is going kind of more to that first bullet on the chapter development of looking at the vision statement and seeing what our next one will be. This group will also look at goals and objectives for each chapter and give feedback on draft chapters as they are ready. And I believe we can kind of look into this at future meetings on how feedback on draft chapters will look. We might do kind of subcommittees based on topics that you're interested in, or make them all accessible to everyone in the group. But that can be a decision later on. For community engagement, we're looking at promotion and assistance with outreach. At this point, we're looking at the next workshop date TBD. We're going to need a lot of promotion for that, people on the ground that are in Grafton that can get as many people and as many voices into that workshop as possible. And for this next workshop, we'll also be looking for volunteers to facilitate some of the different sections that I touched upon at the different tables. For monthly meetings, this is the schedule we have so far for the ones that will be in the summer, but we'll be sticking to this schedule moving forward. And as I mentioned, this Dropbox link that I'll put in the chat after we're finished sharing screen has all of our deliverables from the first phase and the deliverables from the second phase. So that'll be a catch-all for CMRPC. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Elena. I know that we have discussed a lot of information in a short period of time, but I wanted to give the working group a chance to ask questions and also maybe discuss some things that you heard. And if there's anything that we need to go over or clarify, we should do that now. So I see Anne's hand is up.
Just a question, was 9/4 the third date, meeting date?
Yes, I believe that. Yeah.
That means Labor Day for what it's worth.
Yep.
Okay.
That is exactly right. So that we will not be meeting then.
Okay, great.
Not. So we'll probably, so Elena and Sarah, we will combine our efforts that we were going to do for the following meeting.
Right.
Yeah, that's the trick. That's the tricky thing about Mondays. It's always a long weekend or something. So, and in the summer. Thank you, Anne. Appreciate it. Does anyone else have any other questions or thoughts about CMRPC's presentation or need anything clarified? I will be sending it out after as well to you all, so you have it and you can review as well on your own time. Okay, so if no one has any questions, I was going to basically wrap up. We're almost at end time here, and I'm trying to be good about people's schedules and being cognizant and respectful of everyone's time. So it looks like the video started working, thank goodness. I never said I was tech savvy. That's what we have Dave and Bob and Roshan on the working group for. So okay, so lastly, just reiterating some points for you all to bear in mind as we go forward. Obviously, I've been nagging everyone about getting sworn in. So please, please, please make your appointment to get sworn in. JT, I know that we're still waiting for your appointment, as well as 2 other members. So you do not have to worry about it. But yes, it would. You should make an appointment with the town clerk and try and get on that as soon as possible, because then we will be able to move forward with, chair, vice chair, clerk, etc. Is anybody having trouble contacting the clerk or getting an appointment, or need any assistance with getting sworn in? Okay.
So Fiona, I was told to wait So whenever.
Thank you, JT. Yes,
You
so
tell
we'll
me.
need to, yeah, we'll need to appoint you first and then you can get sworn in. You just missed that cutoff the first time, so. But you're already a natural, so.
I don't want to hold anybody up.
No, you're perfectly fine. Okay, and in addition to that, I would like to tell folks, again, with this group of STAR students, I'm sure everyone is aware that you can subscribe to town updates, but I wanted to just share my screen very briefly to show you that so you can subscribe to town news. There's also the code red, but that's really more for kind of emergencies. So if you subscribe to the town news on the website, it'll take you to the agenda center, and you can basically choose whether you'd like to get a text message or an email update about the master plan working group. So whenever we post agendas or anything of that nature, you'll be able to get a direct notification. So just bear that in mind, that that's something as well. And okay, a couple of other last minute housekeeping things. Obviously, we would love to be able to move forward with chair and vice chair and clerk positions, which I've mentioned a few times. I'm trying to plant that seed. If anyone is interested, please reach out to me. Happy to go over basically the kind of the basic tasks that would be involved. That the chair of the group would essentially be responsible for touching base with myself before future meetings and basically helping coordinating activities, events, and gathering feedback and the other tasks assigned to the working group. But it's not a crazy heavy lift, but an important role nonetheless. The vice chair, of course, does help as well, but is really to step in if the chair is unavailable for a meeting. And the clerk's primary duties would be doing meeting minutes, which is super critical because those can add up if you don't stay on top of them. So just something to think about. If anyone is interested, please email me or call, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Other than that, I think we've got everything. We obviously would like to move quickly because we would love to appoint the 3 folks who are waiting to be appointed to the master plan working group. So, if you are interested, again, let me know when you can. And yeah, last but not least, if you could all just send me that certificate if you have taken your conflict of interest training, that'd be great. So I can check you off. And yeah, that would be perfect. This recording will be posted on Grafton Cable Television if you need to check it out. All of our meetings will be posted there, as I mentioned in my email. Continue to check out the Dropbox, the project page, and all, that's probably enough links for everyone for now. I think that we've covered our bases links wise. So does anybody have any other questions or concerns before we adjourn for the evening?
Yeah, Fiona.
Yeah, Julie.
When I got sworn in, I was talking to Candy about the training, and she said that actually the certificate now gets sent directly to them. They get a copy of it. So do you still need a copy, or?
I guess it would be, it'll help me track at least who did complete their training, just so I know, because yeah, I think it's probably helpful to have, but that is a good question. Thanks, Julie.
All right.
Okay. All right. So if no one else has any questions, I will be following up with the information, any information we talked about today, and happy to answer any questions going forward. And if not, I will see you all on August 7th. and definitely not on September 4th, because no one's going to be around the day. Alrighty. Thank you all so much for your time. I really appreciate it and looking forward to working with you all more on this exciting project.
Thanks, Fiona.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Fiona, did you need a motion to adjourn?
I don't know, because we don't have, I guess we didn't, like, I don't think that we can yet, right? Without an official chair and confirmation that everybody has been sworn in.
Okay, I just didn't know. I mean, I feel like you ran the meeting. I don't know if a chair is required for all that, but I was just gonna throw it out there as we could have, I don't know.
Yeah.
You've lost quorum.
Yep.
You're turned. I just had that happen on the IT committee.
That's
why you didn't get to talk to me earlier, because I had 3 meetings going in the house at the same time.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Linda, I'm glad you could come, Linda, for a bit.
I was there from the beginning. I could hear you, but I couldn't give any input.
No problem. Yeah, no, Colleen, that's a good point. I am my brain was going a mile a minute and not thinking. So next time,
You did fantastic. That was a big meeting and a lot of people. So great job.
Yeah, no, it'll be fun.
What did she say?
All right.
Great, thank you all so much. Bye bye.
Bye, guys.